Right, what else have I got? What else have I got? Right, I'm not laughing at the story, right? I'm not laughing at the story. COVID advisor Devi Sridhar sent white powder and a mask in the post, and apparently written on the mask was, I am done. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon condemned the horrendous abuse of women in the public eye. Are we allowed to be so gender specific these days? I get confused. Professor Sridhar is a professor of global public health and sits on the Scottish Government's coronavirus advisory panel. Let's have a quick look at her qualifications to be a public health expert. She is an American public health researcher. Let me see if I can make that a wee bit bigger for you guys watching. There you go. Who is both Professor and Chair of Global Public Health at the University of Edinburgh, Scotland. She's written 2 books. The Battle Against Hunger, Choice, Circumstance in the World Bank. Governing Global Health, Who Runs the World and Why. Co-written by Chelsea Clinton, well-known globalist. Partly funded, I believe, by the World Economic Forum. And then she was really busy throughout the whole pandemic. When she wasn't advising Nicola Sturgeon's government, she was writing a book. Preventable: How a Pandemic Changed the World and How to Stop the Next One. So, her education, let's have a wee look. She graduated from Ransom Everglane School at the age of 16. She was enrolled in a 6-year programme at the University of Miami that awards a bachelor's degree in 2 years, after which students are in the School of Medicine. In an interview with The Lancet, she explained that her passion for public health stems from her adolescence in Florida, where Sridhar's father died from cancer after years of illness. Even as a teenager, I could see that health was the definition of true wealth. She must be fucking disappointed at us in Scotland. You know, if her father's death from cancer sparked her passion for public health, not cancer research, none of that kind of stuff, public health, then she must be disappointed in how we choose to live in Scotland. She received a bachelor's degree in biology at 18. She was awarded a Rhodes Scholarship. Ooh, racist. To study at the University of Oxford. She completed an MPhil in medical anthropology. Still nothing about public health, still nothing about epidemiology, anything like that. And she got a Doctor of Philosophy degree in anthropology in 2006. Her thesis analysed the effectiveness of the World Bank's effort to combat malnutrition in India, and I'm assuming the book was favourable towards the World Bank, considering her position as a globalist. And she did 8 months field work in India looking into malnutrition and infectious disease, which informed her first book. So, what's Nicola got to say about Sridhar? Sturgeon said, Professor Sridhar has been a hugely important and valuable advisor to the government and given very straight and at times uncomfortable advice. Speaking to the PA news agency, she said Devi is an example of a high-profile, vocal woman who gets horrendous abuse through social media. She's not alone in that, but I know she has received it. She has been a real voice of reason and good sense throughout this pandemic. Well, here's one example of her good reason and good sense. The Spectator has an article on her which goes back to the 12th of August last year. And it says that the antics of Scottish COVID advisor Devi Sridhar has been one of the few bright spots throughout the pandemic. During the last 15 months, Sridhar has become something of a pin-up girl to the SNP's online army of so-called cybernats. Good old cybernats, ready to Twitter bomb you at any moment. This has been due to her repeated jibes at the Westminster government. Her demands for more power for Nicola, which Hollywood had all fucking hell, Mark, concentrate. This had been due to her repeated jibes at the Westminster government, her demands for more power which Holyrood already had, and her effusive praise for First Minister Nicola Sturgeon's wise words and strong leadership. I'm detecting a wee bit of a fucking feedback loop here. What was it Sturgeon said about her? Hugely important and valuable advisor. Voice of reason and good sense. And Sridhar describes Sturgeon as having wise words and strong leadership. Feedback loop. Not to mention, of course, her suggestion that an independent Scotland would have done better against COVID. Divisive fucking poison. More seriously, Sridhar has also been accused of spreading misinformation about the Oxford vaccine. Back in March, as government ministers on both sides of the border sought to dispel scepticism over the AstraZeneca jab, Sridhar appeared to cast doubt on its effectiveness. Was she cancelled for this? Did she have her YouTube channel taken down? Was her Twitter account suspended or permanently banned? Were her publishing monetary benefits withdrawn? No, none of the above. Arguing for a blanket international quarantine, Professor of Anthropology, let's be clear, Sridhar tweeted that our main vaccine, AstraZeneca, doesn't work against the South African COVID variant, even though the evidence was clear by that point that the jab was working to cut hospitalisations and deaths, while being less effective against milder symptoms. Sridhar's response? To block anyone who pointed this out online. People abusing this poor woman by pointing out she was incorrect. Shocking. Shocking. And she's quite right to block every cunt that pointed out that she was wrong. Now Sridhar has managed to combine doubts about her impartiality with her penchant for social media gaffes. Sridhar claimed on Tuesday that unionist bots were trying to discredit her, somewhat redundant given the professor's own action online. Following an online backlash, she's now deleted a tweet which claimed, "The reassuring daily consistency of unionist bots and trolling. You get a shout out in my book, don't worry. Your creative efforts to discredit and spread information haven't gone unnoticed." Oh, they haven't gone unnoticed. So listen, if you were crawling all over her on Twitter, giving her a hard time about some of the shite that she was talking during the pandemic, your efforts haven't gone unnoticed by her. What the fuck does that? Is that some sort of weird mafioso warning or threat? But at least you get a shout out in her book. Now, listen, Sturgeon says that she is subject to abuse, horrendous abuse. Is it because she's a woman that she gets horrendous abuse? Taking it at face value, does she get the abuse because she's a woman? Or does she get the abuse because she said divisive things about the United Kingdom, about vaccine developers, manufacturers? I don't know. But at the end of the day, she is Scotland's voice of reason. Anthropologist Devi Sridhar and dentist Jason Leach are Scotland's voice of reason, and they're worried. They are worried that you're going to go to the bingo tonight and walk in without a mask on. They are worried that you're going to head to the off sale to get your bottle and a half of Buckfast today and not be wearing a face covering. They're worried.